Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to the 2026 Plane Talk, the first Plane Talk of 2026. And first of all, I want to welcome you guys and say Happy New Year to you all. And this is actually the 26th year of Graves Golf. We started this Graves Golf in the year 2000, and we're teaching the monoarm swing and the single plane swing across the world. And we've been doing this for a long time. A lot of travel and a lot of students, seeing a lot of you out there, and it's been great. But this year, we're really excited about 2026. I'm rolling into the new year, and this Plane Talk, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a New Year's resolution, kind of a New Year's resolution Plane Talk. I know it's kind of natural to think about that. Maybe it's a little bit early for some of you guys to think about your golf game right now for this next year, but I want to talk about that, and we'll bring up some topics tonight that hopefully will help you get into the best year of your life, best year of golf you've ever had. And that's what this is all about tonight, is to talk to you guys about what you can do for your upcoming game and kind of plan for the future and the near future to get your best golf game ever. But anyway, so I want to get into that. We'll get into that tonight, and we'll talk about the Fast Forward program. That's the biggest thing we have going on in Graves Golf right now, and I hope all of you, or a majority of you, or most of you out there are partaking in this. The Fast Forward program is our winter training program that we do. We started it about a week and a half, about 2 weeks ago. We took a week off over Christmas. We just started it, and it runs through March. In fact, I think we're going to have a few bonus weeks at the end, so it's about a 14 to 15 week program that goes throughout the winter. You know, I know we get in some deep, heavy winter months of January and February, and it's all about indoor training. We do full swing, short game, flexibility, fitness work, and the mental game work. I do the short game. Todd does the full swing. Chris Henning, who's going to come join us tonight for a little bit, does the flexibility, fitness part, and Paul Monahan, our mental game coach, does the mental game part of it. It's been great. And tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a little bit about the hopefully setting up your greatest year ever for golf. You know, getting your New Year's resolutions going, and talk to you about what to look at in that. And then I'm going to give you have some Q&A session with you. And honestly, these questions came in. The ones that I'm going to go over, the ones that Chris is going to go over, they came in through our Fast Forward program. Just a couple of them already. And we had the Zoom sessions on those, and they were great. But anyway, so let's go over a little bit announcements for normal. We'll go through the commercials, and then we'll get into tonight's topic. First one is about schools. And I really want to talk about that because I'm going to tell you guys right now, and it's great. This is a great thing for Graves Golf. I can't really give you the question of the reason why, but it's a great thing. Schools are filling right now faster than they've ever filled in Graves Golf. And I know I always say they fill fast, and they do, but right now they're filling faster than ever. And if you look at the slide here, we've got schools all the way listed out through June, and already almost a third of them are sold out. Okay, and the ones that don't say sold out, most of them are at least 50% to 60, up to 70% sold out. So they're getting very close to being sold out. If you notice on the slides, you'll see that early in the year, January, February, March, we're primarily in Orlando and Phoenix. We have our schools and our academies. We have beautiful academies in Orlando and Phoenix. Obviously great weather, incredible courses, incredible conditions down there. If you can join us there, strongly recommend it. I mean, like we always say, the earlier you can get in, the earlier you can get hands-on instruction, the better. And then in April, rolling into April, May, June, we still have a little bit of Orlando and Phoenix. We get into our Oklahoma City Academy. We actually have one, if you notice in there, May 7th through 9th in Palm Desert, and so on. We're always looking to add other locations, but people ask me this question all the time. Why do we just pick these primary locations? And the reason is because we have beautiful facilities at the locations. We have indoor, outdoor facilities. We can do classroom work. We can get outside and do outdoor work. We have huge range space for us. We have incredible short game areas. And it's a very unique facilities to be able to handle what we do. And that's why we go to these facilities. And we've done this for years and years and years. But if you can come in, make a weekend out of it, make it 3 days school with us, make a 5-day school, and you'll get in and join us. We still have some specials working on the schools. So I'm telling you guys right now, we still have some specials working on the schools. So if you want to get in, if you want to work with us on getting the best special, the best rate for you, get in as soon as you can. These things are going fast, okay? The second thing I want to bring up real quick is that it's a good time right now. I'm talking to the public. With you guys right now, when I do the stats on this, and the general public that watches these webinars, less than 50% of you, in fact, it's closer to 25 to 30% of you, actually have fittings on file with us. Guys, this is a free service. Okay, and you guys know how we talk about custom club fittings, and these custom club fittings it's a free service we do. You fill out the form, so you just go to gravesgolf.com. There's a club fitting form on there. We'll have the link up on the slide for you here, but you go to that and you fill it out, you submit it, and then within a day, usually it's within a day or the longest 2 days, I'll get back to you with your fittings, what the length of your club should be, length of your clubs, the line angle, shaft flex, grip size, your set and makeup, the whole jazz. I'll talk to you about the entire set and what fits your bag. Whether you get your clubs customized, whether we work with you and get them customized, whether you get new clubs that are customized, whatever it is. You know, we talk about taking those excuses out of the bag. It's a good time of year right now. You got time to go through there to take those fittings. It's very, very simple. The fittings are very easy, and we can get them on file with us, and then you'll get them. I mean, you'll have them on file with us. And whether you go through us or somebody else, or however you want to do that, want to make sure those clubs fit you perfect for the swing you're working towards. Okay, so. And I know, it seems odd to do that in January, but guys, it's a good time because a lot of you guys haven't done this, haven't done it before. Just takes a few minutes, I'd go in there and do it, okay? But, so we're gonna get into the program tonight, and I wanna talk to you guys again. This is, this time of year, we get into I know it's been warm in some places, and then it gets cold and warm and cold. I understand that. Even at our home academy in Oklahoma, we had 80-degree weather a week and a half ago, and now we're getting, into the 40s and 50s again, and we got through freezing. It just ebb and flows. But we love to do fast forward work over the winter, and I want to talk about right now about kind of set some goals or your New Year's resolutions. It's that time of year, right? We always tend to do that. How many of you stick with those resolutions is another thing. But I want to talk to you guys about that, and because people ask me or ask us all the time, what's the best way to get better at golf? Or if I wanted to have my best year ever in golf, or I wanted to, continue my improvement, but really ramp it up or whatever I need to do, what do I need to do on this? And so I'm going to talk about this just kind of in general tonight. And then again, I'll get in some Q&As with you and so on. But first things first is, I'm going to write this up for you guys. And this is a time frame. So I'm going to go this way. This is just time. Okay. This is time. Okay. And you can do this for, let's just say this is year 26. So this is 2026. This is just time, okay? Now, this is where you are today, okay? This is where you are today. Now, I'm going to suggest, and this will say this is January 6th or wherever you are today, okay? First of the year, so start. And this is the end of the year. This is the end of the year. Now, this could be the end of your golf season. This could be, November, October, November, December. This could be earlier than that. This is the end of the year. So this is the end of 26. Okay? Okay. And so we're trying to get from here, and we're trying to lower our scores, obviously scoring over time. Okay? Now, here's the first thing. I'm going to throw this out to you guys right now. If you want to get better, somehow you have to quantify this, okay? Because when it comes down to it, and we have our 5-day camps, or we're interviewing our students at our 5-day camps or alumni schools or whatever we do, and we sit there and say, what do you want in your game? We always hear the word, we want more consistency. We want more consistent. Or maybe I want to hit it longer, whatever it is. There's things that we hear that it's very hard to get better, because if they're saying this or that this is what they're thinking, because there's really no quantification to it. If you say I want to get more consistent, what's that mean? If I want to hit it longer, what's that mean? you're going to add, what's that mean? Okay? So when you do this, the first thing I'm going to say, and I would take out a piece of paper at home and do this. Write this down. In our schools, we do it. So let's get ahead of the game. I have our students at the school. I want you to quantify this, and I'm going to give you some examples of that. I can give you my example. I know this is very unusual, it's different, but I can give you my example. Last year, 2025, I played decent. I played decent golf, and I won 3 events during the year. Played in about 25 events, and I won 3 of them, okay? So I could sit there right now and say, okay, in 2025, I won 3 events. In 2026, I want to win 4 or 5 events, okay? It's a number, it's a quantification, okay? I want to win 4 tournaments this year. Last year, I won 3, okay? Now, I know a lot of you guys don't play tournaments. You don't play like I do. You don't do that. So maybe that doesn't work for you. So let's talk about some other quantifications, some other examples. The simplest one you talk about is maybe your handicap right now. Maybe you keep a handicap. And maybe your handicap right now is a 20. And maybe by the end of the year, you want it to be a 10. Maybe you think that's too unrealistic. Maybe you want it to be 15. Okay? Maybe that's where you want to go. You think of handicap. Okay? Maybe you don't keep a handicap. Maybe you think of it this way. Maybe you're 78 years of age, and by the end of this year, you want to be able to shoot your age. Maybe you've never broken an 85. It's the best you've ever shot. And by the end of this year, you want to shoot your age. You want to shoot 78. Okay? Maybe that's a quantification. Maybe a quantification is this. You play with a group of guys or group of gals, and you play with them, and you never beat them. Okay, they always beat you. This group always beats you. They're a little bit better than you. Maybe by the end of the year, you want to be beating them, or you want to be playing better as well as them or better than them. I know that's not a number, but that's a quantification. Okay, so when you do this, as you put this down, you need to have some type of quantification or some type of number or something that you can do from the beginning to the end of the year and that you can process through it. Because if you don't, for example, if you said, I want to be more consistent, how do I monitor more consistent throughout the year? Okay? Now, I know a lot of people sit there and say, I want to hurt less. I want to be able to play more golf, okay? That's a borderline quantification, because what's hurt less mean? What's mean I want to play more golf? And I understand that. But I want something set up so you can see if you're getting towards that goal you're trying to reach, okay? So let's say we have set, whatever you have set up for that. Maybe it's cutting your handicap in half. Maybe it's shooting the best score you've ever shot. Maybe it's, maybe right now you've never broken a 90 in your life. Okay, you've never broken 90, and maybe you want to shoot, you want to be able to say, I want to shoot in the low 80s by the end of the year. Okay, whatever it is, okay? So we're going to start this journey. So right now we're at the beginning of January. And for most people right now, at the beginning of these first few months, it's winter. You're dealing with some warm weather, some cold weather. The sun goes down early. You don't have as much time to practice. So for the first couple months, I'm going to tell you guys right now, in January and February, for the first couple months, I'm going to strongly suggest that you do I would strongly suggest obviously the Fast Forward program, but do some flexibility and fitness work and then some indoor training. But no matter what, if all you do is flexibility and fitness work in the next month to two, you're going to be ahead of the game. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, as you work on your swing throughout the year, even as you work on your short game throughout the year, even as you work on your mid game throughout the year, okay? There's positions you have difficulty hitting right now because you're not flexible enough, or you're not, I'm not going to say your fitness isn't that level, but basically we lose flexibility. We have difficulty hitting certain positions, whether it's trying to get the elbow in front of the body in the downswing, whether it's trying to get the shoulder to drop in the downswing, whether it's trying to get the hips and shoulders separated in the downswing. Whatever it is, just some flexibility work will help that. So I'm going to tell you right now, the very first thing I would do, especially for our demographic, myself included, the very first thing I would do is make sure you're doing a fitness and flexibility system or setup throughout this winter. That's why we had the Fast Forward training program. A fourth of that, let's be honest, more than a fourth of that program is flexibility and fitness work, okay? It is. It's just a guaranteed it is. And the reason we do that, more than a fourth of it, is because as I'm doing short game work, Todd's doing full swing work, there's flexibility and fitness involved in that, okay? Or flexibility work. The second thing for these first couple months is as you're doing indoor training, you can definitely be doing short game work, okay? I know it's not as easy to do long game work inside, but we do some in the Fast Forward program, but you can do putting work inside. You can do chipping work inside. You can do impact work inside. You can work on a lot of things. We'll get into this program. We'll get into it more tonight. You can do that inside. And guys, this is just a few minutes every single day or every couple days will get you forward and get you going, okay? So that's for the first couple months. We want to be doing that. Now, notice, I didn't look like, oh, this is going way downhill or going fast downhill here. It's not going to get you very far ahead in your game, but it's going to allow you to do that. It's going to get you set up for that. Because what happens over time for the typical player, and this is the problem when they don't have something set up or a business plan or game plan set up, is this is what happens throughout the year for them, is you see this. You see a little better, a little worse, a little better, a little worse, a little better, a little worse. And by the end of the year, they pretty much stayed the same throughout the year, okay? We've talked about that a lot before, okay? And that's not what we're trying to do here. But I'm going to tell you right now, for the first couple months, okay, we're going to work on this. Now, will it improve your scoring? If you're getting more flexible, sure, it has potential. Will it improve, will it get you that goal? It's doing it slightly. But now we start getting into the early spring months, and what can we do, okay? The first thing we want to do in the early spring months is we've got to get where we're getting into the coaching program. We've got to get where we're talking to a coach. We've got to get where actually, if we're not playing, we're out there doing assessments on the golf course. We're doing assessments in the practice area, okay? So we're doing internal quantifications, okay? Notice what I just said there. So all of a sudden, March, April hits, and we're going here, And we start seeing things start working because you're either sending videos into the coach. If you don't want to send videos into the coach, you're sitting there doing drills out on the golf course. You're on the short game doing a 2-ball game. You're doing pullbacks. You're doing clock. You're doing drills on the range. You're doing things to quantify are you getting better or not, okay? For example, you're doing a drill on the green and you're scoring 4 points and you want to try to score 6 or 7 points, okay? You're doing drills around that to quantify I want to get better, and you're recording this. And as you're struggling through this, or you're having difficulty with it, or you don't see better, you're talking to one of my coaches about it. What do I need to do to improve my accuracy off the tee? What do I need to do to improve my accuracy with my irons off the green? How do I need to make a better divot so I can get better compression to hold the ball on the green, okay? So you're working with a coach. And you'll start seeing yourself get a little bit better. It may not be a lot better, but you start seeing yourself a little bit better, okay? Now, if you want to see rapid improvement, so you want to see huge improvement, where it starts going down big time, so you start reaching this goal of dropping significant scores, or dropping the score significantly, your handicap significantly, there's nothing better than hands-on instruction, okay guys? There's just nothing better. So I'm going to suggest in here somewhere, you try to see us in person. Okay, whether it's a 3-day school, a 5-day school, try to find us in person. Because yes, you can get better work with online coaching, you will. But if you want significant improvement, okay, come find us in person, because then we're going to give you like literally a rap sheet of things to work on. Guys, you come to a 3-day school or 5-day school with us, you're getting short game things to work on. You're getting putting, chipping, pitching things to work on. You're getting setup things to work on. You're getting grip things to work on. You're getting backswing things to work on. You're getting impact position things to work on. You're getting driver things to work on. Guys, you're getting it all. You're getting the entire game to work on, and that's huge, okay? And we're giving you a schedule. We're letting you guys figure out how to do that, okay? So that, see us in person, that's huge. But the other thing you're doing as you're doing that is you're continuing this flexibility work throughout the time. This doesn't stop, okay? So you think right now we did it for a couple months. It doesn't stop. That flexibility work is allowing you to hit new positions in your golf swing. It's allowing you to help you get better shaft lead in the club. It's allowing you to get better angles in your trail wrist, okay guys? And I mean, I bring those up as examples, but that's allowing you to do this. If you don't do that work early and continue that through the year, it will not allow you to do this. And I think that's the biggest thing people need to understand, or that the people we work with need to understand, is that just understanding that, hey, I need flexibility in the wrist to create better angles through impact. Or I need to be able to separate my hips from my shoulders. Just understanding it doesn't allow you to do it. That's why starting this work early then allows you, it gives you permission, gives you a setup to allow you to start working on that. Okay? So now we're into this system here, we're working out throughout the year. And as we do this, we need to keep or continually assess the process or the progress, okay? And the best way to do that, no doubt about it, is to work with one of our coaches, okay? Now, we're going to tell you guys right now, we want you to get in the golf course and play golf and keep those stats in the golf course and so on, okay? But I'm going to give you some interesting stats right now. Number one stat is, when we interview our students, a majority of our students say they play less than 1 round of golf a month. In fact, a majority of our students say that they're lucky to play 1 to 2 rounds of golf every couple months. Okay, that's what they say. It's rare to have students that play multiple rounds in a week. Okay, so our students they play some golf, but they're not playing rounds of golf. Okay, they just don't take the time to do it. Hopefully you're one that does, and if you are and you can keep stats and you can keep that, that's great, because then you can work with the coach and figure out the strengths and weaknesses of your game. Hey, my driver is my strengths, my putting my weaknesses, or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe my putting is my strength and my driver is, whatever it is, you can keep that, okay? But as you're going through this process, you're continually quantifying it, okay? If you don't play golf, let's get out and let's do the testing out on the range. Let's do the testing on the green. Let's do the testing on the bunkers. And we had that set for you guys, okay? And we're continually doing that through here, and we're re-evaluating it. So every so often, in this time period here, every so often, you're taking a new evaluation. Where am I at? Am I getting better? Because there's sometimes you may be stagnant. You're stuck, okay? And typically those times you get stuck, or the times you start, if you're trying to get a better score, if you're trying to shoot your age, you're trying to lower the handicap, you're trying, whatever it is, you're trying to be the best player in the group instead of the middle to worst player in the group, whatever it is. Definitely part of that is when you do this, definitely part of that is a lot of times we get stuck for like weeks at a time working just on the full swing, and we forget parts of that scoring game. And we understand that. So you want to constantly evaluate that. Here's another thing I'm going to throw out to you guys throughout this year, or what you want to do the year. And I know for some of you guys, this is going to kind of freak you all out, but I'm going to throw this out to you. Let's get radical this year. And I'm going to strongly suggest that during this year, you set up checkpoints. But here's what I want for checkpoints throughout the year. These checkpoints are going to be tournaments. Now, when I say tournaments, I don't mean going out and playing with a bunch of pros and shooting a score. They may be a ladies' day on every Tuesday. It may be a men's night league on a Thursday night. It may be a couples group you play with on the weekend. Okay? Or maybe this year you decide to play in your senior club championship. Or your senior ladies club championship. Or maybe this year you go play they had the USAM tour out there, by handicap and non-handicap. Okay? Whatever it is, I want you, especially if you've never done this before, I want you to set this up and set up doing it a few times. I would actually say a little bit more routine that throughout this spring, summer, and fall. And the reason I do this, and guys, and those that have never done it before, don't be embarrassed from it. This, number one, it's a great learning experience, but number two, when you do this inherently, you set it up almost like a test. But think of it as positive. Think when you were in school and you had a test. How many of you guys studied the 3 weeks before the test? I mean, none of us did. We studied the week before, the 2 days before, the 3 days before. We crammed the night before that test. We all did that. It's kind of human nature, right? Well, that's what these events do. And if you don't want to call it a tournament, call it an event. That's what they do. What you do is just prior to it, you'll practice a little bit harder. You'll contact the coach. You'll start doing the quantifications more. It hyper-focuses you on trying to get better. And if you routinely do that throughout the year, you'll be shocked at how much really good practice you get in. Now, let's say right now, and this is kind of thinking out of the box, let's say right now that you don't want to play an event. I don't do that. I don't want to put myself out in that. Okay, plan 3 or 4 trips this year. I mean, I hear people do this all the time. Plan trips somewhere where you go. It'd be great if you can go to Scotland or Ireland or something like that and plan a trip. And I know we have students that do that. But plan some trips throughout the year. We're going to go play some rounds of golf at those trips. Obviously, you want to play good at those places, okay? You'll do the same thing if you do that throughout the year. I know there's a lot of guys I talk to go play in member guest tournaments. And when they play in member guest events throughout the year, they want to play obviously good at the member guest event with their friends. So they're hyper-focused and trying to get ready for that member guest event, okay? Whatever it is, set up things throughout the year that you can call it a test that will make you hyper-focused on trying to get better for that event, okay? Because if you don't, we tend to kind of migrate in our practices where sometimes we practice hard, sometimes we don't. These right here, I promise you'll cram for the test and you'll put some extra practice in. And there's nothing better than putting a little bit of extra practice and trying to get ready for something coming up, okay? That's another thing I'm going to suggest throughout this year. But the biggest thing I'm going to suggest as you go through this is you set up basically a calendar for yourself. And I've done this for myself. I do it every year. I have a calendar set up, and I actually do it in a weekly check. And at the end of each week in my calendar, and I'm old school, I have a calendar set up, and maybe I'll bring it up for you guys here, and when I get Chris up here in a few seconds and get a Q&A. I literally at the end of every week say, okay, I want to reach this goal. In my winter goals right now, I have flexibility goals in there. I have Excalibur training goals in there. I want to make X amount of putts at Excalibur. I have weight goals in there. I'm trying to lose some weight. I have speed goals in there. I literally have every week at the end of the week goals I'm trying to reach, okay? And then by the end of the week, I check it off. And guys, I check off I've reached those goals. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but they're there. And it really helps me trying to reach and kind of take this big picture and put it in a smaller version. Because I'll tell you what, time flies. I'm telling you right now, it flies. It moves fast. But if you can set down weekly goals that turn into monthly goals, that turn into maybe quarterly goals, that turn into biannual goals, it's easy. And we back up that. Okay, and guys, we're more than happy, and we'll be happy to work with you guys on this. Let our coaches help you with this. This is what the Fast Forward, and guys, I'm gonna throw this back. I know it sounds like a broken record, but this is what that Fast Forward program is all about. We're helping you guys set up goals throughout this winter. For at least January, February, and March, we're setting the goals for you guys. That's what we do: full swing, short game, long game, the full swing, short game, mental goals, and then fitness goals. That's what we're doing for these 3 months. That's what we're doing with the Fast Forward program. And so, guys, I wanted to bring this up, okay? So I want you to start thinking this way. And I'll review this really quick one more time. Then I'm going to get some Q&A for tonight. But, guys, set some goals for this year. But as you're setting these goals, okay, let's do this, this New Year's resolution. Make sure it's quantifiable, okay? Make sure. And guys, be radical. I mean, this is between you. If you talk to your coach about it, great. It's almost like you're going to a confessional. It's private, okay? It's not a big deal. Be radical with it. Say, maybe you're a 15 handicap and you want to get to a 7. Maybe you're 25 handicap, you want to get to a 12. Okay, let's do it. Let's get radical, okay? Right now, for the first couple months, I'm going to tell you right now, the number one thing hyper-focus on is flexibility, flexibility, flexibility. Let's get that flexibility going, okay? Make sure we do that, because that'll allow us and give us permission to be able to get better at our swing and even the short game throughout the year. The second thing is, there's a lot of indoor training you can do right now, just for a couple minutes a day if you choose to do it, okay? The next thing on this is, as you start getting into these early months, you start getting into late February, maybe March, you're starting to get in those months when you can start getting outside and practicing a lot more and so on. Let's get hooked up with a coach, okay? Let's get hooked up with that coach, okay? So you can start talking to a coach about how you can get better at this, what you need to do to get better, where you can hyper-focus. Set up quantifications. We can help you with that throughout the spring and summer. What's your weakest part of your short game? What's your strongest part of your short game? What's your weakest part of your full swing? What's your strongest part of your full swing? Let's work on that. And then the last thing on there, and I'm going to tell you this right now, set up some events. You can call it tournaments, you can call it events, you can call it whatever you want. Set up that throughout the year, so that you have something to hyper-focus on throughout the year, okay? So let's work on that. Let's get that set up. And then tonight, I'm going to get into some questions with you guys, some Q&A. I'll bring Chris up here in a minute. And when it goes through some questions to kind of start the year and get you really started, to kind of get you what other people are thinking about and get you rolling throughout this year. All right, I want to get a few questions now. I got a couple that actually, believe it or not, were brought up in the Fast Forward program that we had about a week and a half ago. We had the first one, or actually about 2 weeks ago now, we had the first short game version of it. And I'm going to bring up an email that was sent in on it and then do a little Q&A on it. And then I have another question that came in that I'm going to bring Chris in. Here's the first one. Mark W. sent me this, and he said, I just wanted to say thank you and share my experience playing yesterday due to some freakishly warm weather in St. Louis. This month I've been working on my putting, chipping, and pitching into a tarp in the basement for a few minutes, so indoor training, daily, and tracking the time spent. It's amazing how spending 7 to 12 minutes a day per discipline can add up. So far this month I practiced my putting stroke alone for 3 hours plus 23 of 27 days. I have incorporated your teaching in ball position, shaft lean, and hands down the line, and continue to work on ingraining them. Your tips during the Fast Forward presentation, that was 2 weeks ago, specifically the single trail hand drill that Tiger used and the short backstroke to promote acceleration were golden. Yesterday, the first real round in over 6 weeks, I had 30 putts with no 3 putts. What's more, I had several 4 to 6 footers that, due to your acceleration drill, went in the hole with smooth authority. So there you go. So guys, so you notice there, and I love this. This is a perfect example of just, notice what he said, 7 to 10 minutes, 7 to 12 minutes per day, working on disciplines. Guys, I mean, that even if you did a couple a day, that's 15 minutes a day. And notice what and I know this is quick, and I know that was pretty rapid, but notice, I mean, he said 30 putts, total putts in a round of golf. I mean, that's getting to be tour level type, that work there, okay? And that's phenomenal. But guys, here's what it comes down to. Notice what he said there. He talked about promoting acceleration and shaft lean, okay? And we'll talk about that for just a couple seconds. I know those guys in the Fast Forward training program, you guys have seen this. And in fact, we had a whole hour Zoom session on this, and it was great, okay? But we had this talk. Throughout this winter, we've got to get, okay, not only we've got to work, and the biggest thing I want you to take away from this right now is we've got to get shaft lean in everything we're going to do. So as you're working this winter, okay, we've got to force shaft lean, and I'm going to do it with the putter, on the putter, and then maintain that shaft lean as long as possible. Now, I know that this sounds like a broken record for a lot of you. The guys that watch this, it seems like a broken record, but I can't stress enough. In fact, this right here is a square-to-square putter that was released last year by Odyssey, okay? It's kind of the new thing that's out there. They say almost 50% of tour players have got some type of shaft lean putter now in their hand, and we're talking tour players as in ladies tour, champions tour, men's tour, okay? They say almost 50% have sort of a shaft lean putter in their hands now. Shows you how popular it is, okay? But think about it. How important is shaft lean? Shaft lean is even built into the club now, even more exaggerated than ever was before. But when you look at with putting and you set up, okay, and you get your hands forward, we've got to get the shaft leaning forward to start. So right now, if you look at the shaft, it's between my belly button and my lead hip. It's not pointed at the belly button, and it's more towards that lead hip. As I take a stroke, I maintain that shaft lean, or actually almost increase that shaft lean. And that's massive, okay? And that's what he was talking about on this, was that he worked on that shaft lean through impact, okay? And keeping that shaft lean through impact. The second thing is he talked about acceleration. And there's two big errors in putting. The number one error is, obviously, the biggest thing is that we don't get the ball square to the top. We don't get the putter face square to the given line. Well, I'm telling you guys right now, if you use a triple track on the ball or you use a line on the ball and you set it down in the green, that will help you dramatically get it square to the line, okay? So let's assume you do that. Let's assume right now you use some type of alignment aid on the ball to help you square towards the target. That will typically pretty well square that face, because the number one error in putting is we don't get a square face. But let's say you do an alignment aid and get that square face relatively square, okay? So the second error now is deacceleration. Okay? And when do you see the issues with deacceleration? You see the issues with deacceleration on short putts. Okay? Because if you have deacceleration on long putts, yeah, the putt may come up 5 feet short or may come up 8 feet short, or maybe it's a little left, a little right, but you're not going to see a huge error because you miss those putts anyway. Where you see the issue is when you have 3-footers, 5-footers, 6-footers that you think you should be making and you should be making, and you deaccelerate and that ball goes off the line or doesn't have acceleration, or maybe bounces because you deaccelerate so it doesn't hold its line. So let's say it's a left lip putt, and you deaccelerate, and all of a sudden it breaks the whole cup, out the hole because you deaccelerated in the putt. So what you do on a deacceleration is you shorten up the backstroke. So you make sure the backstroke's shorter than the through stroke. We want a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3 acceleration. And a great way to test that is by the Excalibur. And we talk about this in our Fast Forward training program right here. We use the Excalibur, and there's lines on this Excalibur. And for a lot of you at home, you look at this Excalibur and you think it's torture. A lot of you that use this because you think it's really, really hard. And it shouldn't be. It's not a hard tool to use. But when we throw this Excalibur down, we throw a throw hole down that we putt into, which is optimal in more training. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep the backstroke shorter than the through stroke. So just sitting here. So think about this right now. And this, I promise you, this is what Mark was working on. I mean, he talked about it. Just sitting here going short backstroke, accelerated through stroke. Short backstroke, accelerated through stroke. This is acceleration, keeping the shaft lean. Because what most golfers do, and the mistake they make, is they may get a short backstroke, but then they flip it on the through stroke, and they lose that shaft lean. And the second they lose that shaft lean, they close out that putter head, the putter's going offline, they're not keeping it down, not keeping it towards the target. So just working, think about this right now, just working on acceleration with shaft lean, what will that do to your score? And guys, in the Fast Forward training program this is like 1/1000th of the program. But look what it can do to your score just working on something this small. So just sitting inside and working on this. Shaft lean acceleration is massive over the winter, okay? Now let's go to the second question real quick before I get Chris in here. Okay? And this was actually a question that was brought up in the Zoom session of our Fast Forward program. Okay, in the Fast Forward program we've started, and you guys, if you're not in this Fast Forward program, I'm going to strongly suggest get into it. In fact, I think Chris has a special he's going to give for you guys in this Fast Forward program. When he comes up here, he can talk to you guys about it. But if you're not in the program, get into it now. I mean, everything's recorded. I mean, you're a week and a half behind. I mean, you still got 3 months to go. Get into it now. I cannot stress you enough how critical it is to get in this thing and work on the winter training. All right, let's go over this question. Okay, can you please explain how lead hand low is recommended, how it relates to shoulders, and how I can get comfortable using it? Yeah. Again, putting. Okay, so guys, you can do indoor training with putting. Guys, and also remember, putting is almost half of the game. So if you're not working on your putting, if you're not training your putting, you're going to get in some trouble, okay, in your scoring. But yeah, we recommend lead hand low. And the reason we recommend lead hand low, and I'm going to show you from down the line view here, is the golfers that trail hand low, a majority of golfers, and guys, when we say majority, we're talking basically every one of these when we see our students at the school. When you're trail hand low, your shoulders are open to the given target. So if your trail hand low and your shoulders are open to the given target, you're going to come across the stroke, or you're going to go outside in, or you're going to cut across the stroke all the time, okay? It's just going to be a way, it's just going to be a normal way that you putt coming across the putt. That's why for most people, when they finish their putting stroke, their putter face is inside the target. It's a closed down face when they finish, and they hold their finish because their shoulders are open, even at setup. So if you go lead hand low, now look at it into my shoulders. So here's my shoulders right now with trail hand low. I go lead hand low, it squares the shoulders. It naturally squares your shoulders. And when you get naturally squared shoulders, it's much easier to get the hands down the line and the club face towards the target. I mean, naturally, when you get those lead hand low, when you get the shoulders square. Now, but here's what I'm going to talk to you guys about this. The number one thing I get is I tried it, it's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good. I'm not used to it, okay? Well, here, first of all, think about it. If you're not used to it or it's not comfortable, what are you comparing it to? If you were a brand new golfer and I put you lead hand low, you wouldn't even know better. You'd be like, oh, that sounds great to me, I'll just try it, okay? And in fact, it's when we had new golfers, and most professionals now, when they get new golfers in and they start putting, they go immediately lead hand low because it just takes so many issues out of the game when you start putting that way. That's number one. Number two is, what are you comparing it to? You're saying you're not comfortable compared to what? Obviously, probably trail hand low. So here's what you're going to do for me. It's a great thing to do over the winter. I'm going to give you this story. Maybe you've heard it before, maybe you haven't. But years and years and years ago, this is a long time ago, I was in Miami, Oklahoma playing golf with a friend, okay, up at his home course. And Bruce Litsky was there at the time. Okay, Bruce Litsky is an Okie from, he's passed away a few years back, but obviously phenomenal golfer, won many PGA Tour events and so on. But Bruce Litsky was there at the time, and he was actually in his heyday at the time. That's how many years ago it was. And I'm on the practice screen practicing, and Bruce Litsky's there also practicing, okay? And Bruce Litsky was waving a long putter. He actually he was one of the first that had a long putter, the long putter, the chest putter, and he was doing that. And I was out messing around, and I was with my buddy, and my buddy was the pro at the golf course, and good friends with Bruce. And I tried the long putter, and I got it. Now Bruce's was really long, okay, because he was much taller than I was. But I got his putter. I remember it was almost in my chin, and I was using the long putter. I was like, this is kind of cool. This kind of takes a lot of issues out of the game. This is before this is when you could still anchor the putter. Now that you can't anchor it, it's changed the tune a lot. But at that time, you could still anchor the putter, and I was using that putter. And I was using it on the green, I was using a little bit, I was trying it, and I was like having some success with it. And Bruce came to me and he said, do you like that putter? I said, yeah, I think that's a pretty cool putter. And he goes, well, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal here. He goes, I'll get you one that fits you if you want to try it. Because I'll get you one that'll work for you, but you got to make me a deal. He goes, you got to try it for 3 weeks, and you need to practice with it pretty much every day for 3 weeks before you put it in the closet or give up on it. That's what he told me. And I'll never forget him telling me that, because I remember thinking to myself, well, okay, why not? But what it was is he wanted me to get through that uncomfortable stage, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys that same thing. Get through the uncomfortable stage. So if you go lead hand low and try that, do it for at least a couple to 3 weeks. Do it inside. What's the harm of trying inside? Get on the Excalibur or get on some type of training and do inside for 3 weeks. And trust me, you will get comfortable with it if you do it for an extended period of time. You'll manipulate a little bit. Maybe you'll adjust your grip a little bit. Maybe you'll adjust your grip pressure a little bit. The shoulders will get normal doing that. You'll get balance better. Guys, do it for a few weeks before you give it up. Don't just try it once or twice. Okay, I'm done. It didn't work. It's uncomfortable. Try it for a while. Then after that time period, you say, okay, I can go back to the way I was because I just can't get used to this. That's fine. But give it a fair chance, okay? And I'll be honest with you guys. I used that long putter for a couple of years when I was playing on the road. I loved it. I didn't do well with it when it was windy out, but I did very well with it when it wasn't windy out. Now, when they stopped the anchoring issue, that kind of went away. Then it became where it was like almost like a third leg for me. I've told you guys this story before, but I just want you guys to understand, try something for a while before you give up on it, okay? Now, one more question, I'm gonna get Chris up here. All right. I've heard you say it 100 times, but still don't understand how the putting stroke relates to the full swing. How does working on putting stroke help my full swing? And guys, right now, I'm telling you right now, these are 2 questions that came out of the Zoom session we had 2 Fridays ago. Okay, this was the Zoom session we had just before Christmas, okay, on the fast forward. It was a phenomenal Zoom session. I think we had like 15 or 20 questions on there. It was a live Zoom session. We had one every Friday now in the fast forward program. They're amazing, okay? But these are 2 questions that are brought out. And if you want to see more in-depth detailed about these questions or about other questions that are brought up, please review those Zoom sessions. They're recorded that we had, okay? But it says, you've heard it 100 times, how does the working the putting help the full swing? You know, I call it the 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 ways right now. I'm going to show you examples. I'm going to give you putting first. Let's talk about shaft lean. Okay, if you don't have shaft lean with your putter, if you lose shaft lean with your putter, you're going to cast your full swing. So right now, I'm going to throw this out. I'm pretty hardcore about this. If you're a guy or a gal out there that makes minimal to no divot, you make minimal to no divot. So when you hit a shot, I don't care if it's off soft ground, if it's off hard ground, whatever it is, when you hit the shot, you look down, there's not much divot there, okay? There's a strong probability, a high likelihood that you lose shaft lean throughout the swing. That's why you don't make a divot. So when you're in the downswing and you're coming down to make an impact, if you kept shaft lean, it would drive through the ground, it would make a divot with your irons, your hybrids, even potentially your fairway woods. But if you lose shaft lean, you cast the club, that club is on the upswing going across the ground, that's not going to make a divot. It might bruise the ground or nick the ground, but it's not going to make a divot, okay? So the first thing first is you got to create shaft lean. Just like I've been talking about so far. So we're going to create shaft lean in that putter, maintain that shaft lean. And trust me, you maintain shaft lean in a putter, it's going to teach that subconscious, that conscious and subconscious part of your brain that I like that shaft lean. Maybe I can do that for the rest of the clubs in my bag. So that's number 1. Number 2, notice what happens here is I go through a full swing. Watch my setup and watch my trail wrist angle. Okay? Now, I'm going to go through impact. Notice what happens as I go through impact. That trail wrist angle increased through impact and then releases through impact, okay? But it increases on the downswing through impact and then releases that trail wrist angle. So I still have a flat leading wrist through impact, okay? And I have increased angle on my trail wrist through impact. That's leverage. That's leverage through impact. Well, guess what? As I'm working on putting properly, I'm working on that same position. Yes, even with lead hand low. I know that's opposite of what you do in a full swing, but I'm working on that same position. Notice, I'm working on a straight arm through impact, and I'm working to increase that angle of that trail wrist through impact. That's what's keeping that shaft lean, okay? There's a second one, okay? So working on that putting stroke will help you get that shaft lean through impact. Here's the next one. I'm trying to get my club towards the target for as long as possible. So I give you a down the line view. I'm trying to keep that club head down the line as long as possible. And that's what Mark referred to as that tiger drill. We talk about it in the fast forward program. We talk about a tiger drill of getting that hand down the line towards a target for as long as possible. Well, guess what? In the full swing, we're trying to do the same thing. In fact, Mo said it a million times, that I keep that club face square the longest, and my hands and club face go to the target longer than anybody in golf. That's what he'd say continually, okay? Same thing. So if you're working that putting, I know it doesn't, for a lot of you guys, it doesn't match up. But if you're working that putting, getting that face to the target as long as possible, getting the hands down the line, getting that shaft lean, we call it a hip check, okay? All that is directly related to the full swing. And yes, it will carry over, because think of it the opposite. If you're that person who does this, and you flip the putter, and you flip the putter, and you flip the putter, and I'm telling you guys right now, when we see students for the first time in our schools, that's what the majority of you all are doing, is you're flipping the putter and it's coming inside, you flip the putter and come inside. If you're doing that with your putter, how do you expect when you get a full swing going that you're not going to flip it and bring it inside? That's you're reacting a golf club to a golf ball. So how about we work on that putter towards the target down the line, keeping shaft lean, and then we'll assume and hope, and it will get that into the full swing eventually. Okay? And that's what this is all about. When I've said it 100 times that work on the putting stroke can work on the full swing. And it does. And dramatic works together. And guys, that's what our Fast Forward program is all about. That's how it's all tied together. That's actually why we do it in the order we do in the Fast Forward program. We go from short game to flexibility to long game work to mental game work. That's what we do. We do it in that order. Then we repeat it the next month. We repeat it the next month. That's why it's by far our Fast Forward training program we do over the winter is by far the popular program we do in here. By far. Okay, not even close. Because think about it. Just like I showed you in this chart here, it allows you and gives you, just work on this for a little bit over the winter, permission to just start ramping it up as you get towards that spring and summer. Yes, you will get better over the winter, I promise you. And for some of you guys, you'll dramatically get better over the winter doing this program. But it gives you permission to ramp it up. And the biggest thing for me, and I know this is what I do, is I work, throughout the year I work on my fitness and flexibility. I try to. But I tend to almost play more golf than fitness. And I give myself that excuse that, hey, if I'm out there playing golf, I'm working on flexibility. And I know it's an excuse, but I'm trying to do that. But over the winter, I really hyper-focus on my weak areas of the body. And I'm going to bring Chris up. I'm going to bring him up. And I think first thing is, he probably wants to talk about the Fast Forward program a little bit. Chris runs the Fast Forward program for us.
Yeah,
right, Chris?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then and he just did this literally last week, a couple days ago. He had his first session of the fitness part, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so we've had 2 sessions out of basically 15 done now. So a majority of it's still ongoing, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so anybody out there right now that isn't in the Fast Forward program, can they get in?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I will say this: the deadline is January 15th.
Okay.
You got to get in. We've got over 500 people in this program right now. Like it continuously grows every single year.
I love it.
Gets better and better and better. But the number one thing about it is it's consistency. It's going to help you achieve all these goals because you're going to have things to work on every single day. Right. So that kind of leads us into our questions here. So.
Yeah. So Chris had a couple. His Zoom session he had, I think this last Friday. Mm-hmm. He had a great Zoom session. Another fantastic Zoom session. Guys, the way the FAST program is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're giving you little drills. We're doing you little tasks, things to do inside, whether it's, whether it's short game, full swing, fitness and flexibility, or mental game. And then on Friday, we have a Zoom session. Yep. And so we're live and it's recorded. So if you can't join us live, you can obviously watch it recorded. And that's where we get all the people on there and have some great questions for everybody talking about what they're working on that week.
Yep.
So, and Chris had a couple from last Zoom he wants to bring up with you guys.
Yeah, so before that, after I get done with answering these questions, I'm going to give you guys a special offer. It's going to expire January 15th, but we'll get to that here in just a second. Okay. So the first question, I'm having a great deal of trouble doing anything on my knees as it pertains to exercise. Is Fast Forward something I can do?
I love that because when I was 25, 30 years old, I jumped down on my knees. Now I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah, now it's a struggle.
It is, and it hurts.
You almost have to warm up to get up off the ground.
No, it does. Like getting those knees, it's like it's going to be a little painful getting down. Okay, go ahead.
100%. Yeah, so 100%. I designed the Fast Forward actually in the videos. I'll show you the preferred way, maybe the more advanced way, and then I regress it to the chair. So everybody can do this 100%. You can use the chair for support, and some of the exercises you're actually sitting on the chair, and it's quite effective. So what we're just trying to do is maybe take you out of that chair and get you to advance to the next phase of that, and it could take a couple of months. So just stick with it, and 100%. Would love to have you in the program.
Love it.
All right, next question. All right, should I be doing the stretching routine in Fast Forward every day? Do I have enough time considering I'm doing drills from Tim and Todd? 100%, absolutely. In fact, let's just say you do a regular workout program, or you go play golf. Do the routine right after that. The program is literally 8 to 10 minutes long. So you can do it multiple times per day. I suggest you do it first thing, as soon as you get out of bed, and before bed. But if you have a busy day, you're out doing things, go ahead and do it again. You can't do it enough. And in fact, I want you to, that's part of the secret of Fast Forward is the consistency. So I don't want you to do it during my week of fast forward. I want you to do it every single day of the month, continuously. So it's that consistency that's going to break through and give you those quantifiable results.
Talk to me about that for a second here, because I love that. Tell them at home about this, but I'm asking you this question too. I mean, this isn't a preloaded question. You know, there's some days, like even here, you know, in our home base, that there's some days, I mean, a couple of weeks ago it was 80 degrees out. I mean, it actually we had 85 degrees in the middle of at the end of December. It was ridiculous.
Crazy.
And then 2 days later it's 25 degrees out.
Yes.
Okay, you know, okay. So the 80 degree days, I mean, I'm trying to get out at 9 o'clock in the morning and play some golf, and I'm playing until 5 o'clock when it gets dark. I mean, I'm out there trying to do some stuff when I have time, okay?
Yep.
And so the flexibility work those days was maybe I got one shot, maybe I didn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But now, you said you could do this more than once a day.
Absolutely.
Okay, and explain that, because I think a lot of people in the mindset, okay, you chunk out maybe 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes your day, and let's go do the workout and flexibility work at that time. You actually saying you can do it more if you want?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Because this is these aren't exercises. These are stretches. These are going to rejuvenate the body. These are going to make you feel better. And for me, if I'm playing golf, 36 holes, I'm going to be tired. I know my low back is going to be shot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need these stretches. And as soon as I do them, I feel better. It's almost like restoring the body in a way. So these are almost healing. So I would, you know, you can do them as much as you want.
Right. And one thing I'm going to do here, and I promise you guys this, is I'm going to actually have Chris do this as the bonus. You know, we go through the middle of March, and then we have typically a bonus month or bonus weeks. And we always have bonus and flexibility. And what the bonus we're going to do this year is I'm going to get Chris out, and we're going to get on the golf course, and we're going to have a golf cart there. And what I'm going to have him do is say, show me 3 or 4 stretches we can do on this cart that I could do if I'm waiting on a tee box, waiting to hit shots, if I'm about to go play around the golf, if let's say I'm on the 4th hole and there's a group waiting ahead of me, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm waiting for 15 minutes. Show me some stretches I can do in this cart just sitting here, just to keep myself limber. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
So so you be that guy out there, instead of drinking that beer and sitting down there and whatever, which is
hot dog.
yeah, you know, which is okay. I don't see, but you be that guy who stretched a little bit in the golf course, because you're saying right now, if I did that throughout the round, I had a few minutes, it'd be good for me, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, we want to be able to play this game pain-free.
Right.
Stretching is your fastest, easiest way to get to that point, especially if you're having those long rounds. And sometimes you need to distract yourself, because for me, if I'm playing behind a slow group and they know I'm faster than them, they won't let me play through. I get a little angry.
Right.
So I need something to take my mind off of it. So yeah, that would be perfect.
Okay, so here's what I want to do for you real now. I want you to give him one right now. I'm making him do this off the top of his head. This wasn't set up. Give me some, I just talked about right now about shaft lean. Shaft lean has a lot to do with wrist flexibility.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, yes, guys, the kinematic sequence goes from the knees to the hips to the shoulders to the arms and then into the wrist. I mean, that's like one of the last things in the kinematic sequence.
Yep.
So I know I'm busting the order on this thing, but I just brought it up. Okay, so, and I know when some guys do, they keep that shaft lean and try to push that through there. It gets a little painful.
And especially in our age group, this lead wrist, is usually inflexible, I would say.
Less flexible,
yeah. There's a lot of problems in this lead hand wrist.
Okay.
So
give me a drill. Give me a flexibility real quick.
I mean, this is really easy.
Okay.
I actually got this one from you a couple years ago.
Okay.
So the first fast forward. So I take the prayers and I put it up here and I pull it close to my body, and I'm just gonna push down. And I'm gonna get to a certain point where I feel that pressure, and I'm gonna be pushing against this. I'm trying to get that hinge in my wrist. I can go pretty far down. And then once I get to my stopping point, I'm just gonna rotate out. Nice and slow and controlled. I'm gonna maintain that pressure. I'm pressing.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I'm gonna come back up, rotate back up. And I would do that 3-4 times.
And
I can feel that already.
And can't do that too much during the day.
Oh, 100%.
That's the point.
No, you could be sitting at your desk just reading emails. I mean, you can do this.
Right.
No problem.
100%. So no, and that's the whole point. And I'm gonna, that's the point of this. And so I know, we showed you some things we're working on the fast forward, but remember the way this was brought up tonight, kind of set out those New Year's resolutions. We always get excited about it, and hopefully we hold these goals. But remember how the process we're trying to help you guys through that. For the first couple of months, especially with this winter months, especially when we have that warm day, cold day, cold day, cold day, warm day, we get out, we don't get out, we have the time, we don't have the time, maybe we're too busy this time of year when it gets dark at 5 o'clock. The body, in 2 months from now, the body's going to be in a better position. It's going to be more flexible than we started right now.
Oh.
Okay, let's just set that goal. We're going to have a little bit better flexibility in the body. I'm not saying we're going to be stronger. We're going to be this. We're just going to be a little more flexible. Okay, and then when we come out of that, maybe we did some indoor drills with that. Hopefully we did some indoor long game, short game, mental game work with that in the Fast Forward program. But then as you hit those springtime, we start working with the coach. Hopefully we can get to a school. If we can get to a school early, man, we can really ramp it up. Mm-hmm. Man, you have note like this of what to work on the swing. And then so you're coming to school, you're working with a coach. And then you're going to set up some goals, some quantification goals throughout the year. Different times. Maybe you'll do it every week, maybe do it every month, but you're going to say, okay, maybe you want to cut your handicap by 10 strokes throughout the year, so you want to cut at least one shot off per month. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, guys, you follow me. How are you getting there? And you're working with the coach through this, okay? And then as I said, I want you to set up some events. And that's why I don't want to call it tournaments, because a lot of people have negative connotations of tournaments. I want some events, things that are important to you, not just normal rounds of golf, things that are important to you, so that you look forward to it. Not only are you looking forward to it, you're going to cram for that test a little bit. Mm-hmm. And when you cram for that test, you put that extra practice. And trust me, it'll help you get there a lot faster. Okay? Yeah. And like I said, maybe it's playing with the ladies group. Maybe it's playing with the ladies group every couple of months. Maybe it's the couples group. Maybe it's the men's league. Whatever it is, something you're doing, that will get you where you're recording a score, but this round means a little bit more than the other rounds. Trust me, doing that throughout the year will greatly help you improve.
Keeps you accountable.
Keeps you accountable, sure. Yeah, and that's the whole point. And notice we said that, and Chris brought this up, that everything we talked about on here is accountability. Whether it's through quantification, whether it's working with a coach, whatever it is, it's all quantification, and that's what we want to do. So at the end of the year, we can sit there. So let's say you want to cut your handicap in half. Let's say you don't quite get there, but you got 75% of the way there. How good would that be? I mean, so you went from a 25 handicap to maybe an 18 or 17 instead of going to. I mean, that's great. I mean, it's going to show a dramatic improvement if you do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just work on that, and this is what golfers who get better do. I'm not talking just professionals. This is what they do. Okay, and this is how they set this up, and let us help you through that. So Chris, give them the fast forward real quick.
Yeah, okay. So the fast forward, normally you can go to our store right now. It's $1,000, but we're going to do better than that. So fast forward is your blueprint. It's your roadmap. So you're going to set your goals, and you're going to use fast forward to achieve those goals. And again, you're going to be consistent. Fast forward's your roadmap. We're going to bundle that with level 3. So that's swing coaching. So you're getting the 1-2 punch here. So you're going to be able to do things from fast forward and verify that you're doing them correctly with your coach. So we're going to do this, all level 3 members. If you renew, you can just renew, and we're going to throw fast forward in. Now, if you're a non-member, we're doing a special offer on that. It's $6.99. one time, or you can do a 2-pay at $375.
Sure.
And we want to take all the excuses out of this for you. So you're going to get $300 off schools. You're going to get 30% off training aids. You're going to be able to work with a swing coach and work on the Fast Forward program. You're going to get the Fast Forward program, which, by the way...
So the Fast Forward program you get for the next 3 months, but then you get a year's worth of membership.
Absolutely.
So basically what this Fast Forward program is, for $6.99, you get the Fast Forward program, but then you get a year's membership. So it covers all of this. Mm-hmm. So what he just said right here covers all this. So when you start working with the coaches, it's covered. When you need training aids, you get a percent. If you need them, you get percentage off that. You want to come to school, you're getting significant dollars off of that. So it's all in there. So
this version of Fast Forward actually is a university level class.
Right,
you can't get this unless you're a member, basically.
Right.
So what that means is we've taken the level of coaching way up.
Right.
There's a lot more detail in this Fast Forward than there was in any previous Fast Forwards.
Right. So guys, right now for $6.99 you can get in. But it includes the Fast Forward program, and then you get a year's worth of membership. So you're a level 3 member. Mm-hmm. So basically it's buy the Fast Forward program, get 1 year membership for free. That's what it is for $6.99. And so you get all benefits of that level 3 membership. That's the deal right now. That's why he's knocking it off January 15th. You're not going to see it after that. You can still buy memberships before, but it doesn't include the Fast Forward.
No.
And the Fast Forward is a 3-month program that normally costs $1,000. Okay, so it includes all that. And so when you're looking at going out through the year, when you're saying, when I kept talking about working with a coach, I talked about talking to a coach, sending in videos to a coach. When I said setting up your quantifications, doing your assessments, that's all going to be included in your membership. That's all part of your membership. So, and that's why I said not only do the Fast Forward, it continues out for the entire year. And that's what we want. We don't want you to just do it for 2 or 3 months and ended it, it's over. That's just getting you started to ramp up for the year. So that's what this program is set up for. You get in the Fast Forward right now, you crank through it, you love it. We have a blast working with you on this thing through the middle of March. There's a little bit of bonus added on that, and then you're rolling right into you're already a member, but you're keeping your membership and you're rolling right into that. And you're getting about sending videos to the coach, work with the coach, come and get whatever you need. We can work with you on that.
And I want to say, if you miss out on the January 15th deadline, you won't be able to get this.
Right.
You're going to have to wait until next year when we do this
Right,
all
100%,
over again.
100%. Because we run single plane universities throughout the year over specific topics, but this Fast Forward winter training program, we do once a year, and this is it. And that's why it is the most popular program by far. By far. So guys, get into, if you're not into this, if you're already into it, make sure you've got caught up. Make sure that you're getting in the Zoom sessions with us. Make sure that you're following along. Let me know if you have questions like normal. You can always email me at timg@graysgolf.com. timg@graysgolf.com. I'll get you taken care of. I'll get you the right person. If you need to get to Chris or somebody else, we'll get you taken care of. No problem at all in that. You can use that link, or you can just email me at timg@graysgolf.com. I'll get you that right person.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Good? All right, so we had a winner tonight?
We do.
Yeah, okay. So we have a winner tonight. And it's on the screen, you see it right there. I'm not announcing it right now because we shot this a couple hours early to make sure we can get out to you guys right. And so we let those last minute signups come in. So if you look at the screen right now, that's a winner. And they get a free 1 year membership. That's what they got in that. So congratulations. Guys, again, I want to wish you a happy new year. Get those New Year's resolutions set up. Guys, do it weekly, monthly, quarterly. Let's get that thing rocking. Let my coaches help you. You guys got any questions? You need anything from us? And it's the last thing I'm going to bring up on this, just FYI. You guys, you got questions, throw them in the chat, email them to me, email them to Chris. We get them on the next. We love having the Q&A sessions on these playing talks.
We do read the chat.
And we do read the chat. Trust me, we'll read the chat. In fact, we're typically on the chat. We film these a few hours early so we can make sure we get it broadcast to you guys live and don't have breakdowns on it. So that's why we don't do the chat live, but we do them in the next sessions. We do it coming up. Okay, so we have those. We always try to cover those questions, and throughout the year we have tons of just Q&A sessions. Okay, so guys, thanks for joining me tonight, and working that Fast Forward. Keep it going. I'm really excited about working through this year, working with you guys through this year. Let us know what else we can do for you guys, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.